Hi folks, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to prep and paint a panel in a relatively efficient way. Now I know there's going to be some caveats to the entire process. Every panel's different, every situation's unique. But I'm hoping that with this video on this panel that I can show you some techniques that can help you on your way. So in this video, right, this is not going to be like a concourse video or anything else. This is basically going to be what I used to use in the body shop. The way this video has sort of come about is, this is the mini door. I've got the mini restoration at the back. We've just picked the colour for the car, but he's still not quite sure. We've gone through the slides and the tickets and everything else, and I said to him, well, I've still got to reskin this door, you know. So it's like, I'll paint this door, he can see the colour, and then I thought I'll show you a video. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to strip this. Not every, it's the weird thing about this video. It's going to be a lot involved. So the first thing that I'm going to do is strip this door. Hopefully I can do it. I don't know how to at this present moment, but I know I can put chapters in the thing. So if I can do it, they'll be there. There'll be chapters. So right, the first stage is going to be stripping the door. I'm going to strip it back to bare metal because there's a lot of filler underneath this. I need to make this door as close to the car as I possibly can so we can get the colour. Right, but I wanted to make the videos for techniques. So I'm going to strip the door back to bare metal. So that'll be a chapter. And then it'll be sort of keying it up, preparing it, priming, that'll be another chapter. Then sort of preparing the primer, painting, blah blah blah. So yeah, I'm sort of making this up as I go along. Well, I'm not making this up as I go along, I'm making this up as I go along. This is not scripted. I wish I'd have scripted it because it'd make it, I've done 3 outtakes already. But yeah, basically, right, stop rambling, otherwise it's going to be like a 4-hour video of me doing this. So yeah, basically, I'm going to strip this panel, and then we'll prime it and stuff like that. So yeah, well, stop messing around. I'm going to use a strip and clean disc. This is a poly disc on a grinder. I'm just going to rip all of this off and just get it done. So I haven't got my face wash, but this is how unprepared I am for this video. I'm just trying to get it done. So I'm going to shut the camera off. I will come back. I will show you a little bit. I'm not just going to go, this is the panel and then this is the clear. Give me a second. Well, I finally got all of this stripped. It took me a little minute, but it's done. Obviously the air is now cleared, so I now need to key this up. I really hope it comes up on camera, but this is now completely sort of keyed up. There's a little bit of dust that we need to deal with, and that's what we're doing now. Airline. That's blown off. I'm going to degrease it. So, hope you can still hear me. So a lot of people would go with sort of normal panel wipe and everything else, but at this stage I want to completely degrease it. So I'm going with some brake cleaner. So literally just go all over it, and Jessa would do this with paint on and everything. This is like the prelim to everything. Just give it a little swipe past. Now we'll get most of the crap off. Look at that shit. So, now, finish it again. Just a fan. Everything in there. So now what I'll do is I'll leave that for not long, 40-50 seconds, enough to put that over there, sort of deal. You don't have to leave it on, just this sort of crap, just pull this off. Right. So then, now, grab on where it's not evaporated and just go through. You can see the strings. So, now, I'm going to sort some primer out and we'll get that primed. I'll be back in a minute. Paint's mixed, and now we need to use some proper panel wipe. Same as before, just give it a little wipe down. I'm just using blue roll. Again, this is only primer that's going on this stage. All you want to do is make sure it's clean and dry, and so no air, just I'm not putting anything on it and wipe it off. So I'll keep going until I don't know whether that comes up on camera, I can see streaks, so just keep moving this around until I do not do any streaks. No, that's good. A little bit more.
Again, at this stage, it's just primer. So, we've got a little bit mixed up in the gun, not a lot. I'm going to give it a quick dust coat. This is, I hope you can actually hear me. This is filler primer. So, right, let's test the gun. Very good. So, dusting. And now we'll mix up a decent amount. So like I said, there's filler primer. I really do hope you can hear me. I really hope my lens don't get solid up. Yeah, we're going to let that sort of cure, stick. You can hear the heat that's going in the background. Normally you wouldn't do this, but you manage to go on the edge, touch it. But yeah, we're going to mix up some more primer. We're going to give it a couple more coats to let it cure off.
Right, it's actually been probably about 3 days since I primed this. I've just looked back at the footage and yeah, because I had the mask on, probably couldn't hear much of what I was saying. So basically I degreased this, stripped it back to bare metal, completely degreased it, and then sort of I've used the filler primer. I started out with a light dust coat and then I've built it up. If you're a professional painter, you can just lay it straight on, but my advice to you, this is what this video is about, is, you know, a home gamer. Put on 5 or 6 thinner coats, you're not going to have any runs, rather than just try and larrup it on like other people do. So, the next stage is going to be sort of to get to the blocking. So before we start blocking, what we need to do is use a guide coat. Now this is some advice, but take it with a pinch of salt, because it was trial and error. So I'm just going to use a normal rattle can for a guide coat. I've just got some different primer, slightly different colour. That's all you need. And when I say take it with a pinch of salt, is because a lot of these rattle cans have different solvents in and stuff like that, and it won't react with the primer that's underneath. But what will happen is you'll put all the effort in, and then as soon as you lay your first coat of base down or top coat or whatever you're doing, that's when it will react. So my advice would be either buy a proper dedicated guide coat, or do a bit of trial and error with the materials that you've got and see whether they react. That's what I had to do. If I can find a picture, I'll put it up as I'm doing this, because yeah, I ended up cocking up big time one day. But again, it's all trial and error, so yeah, just going to give this a quick shaky shake. Probably should have done this before I turned the camera on, shouldn't I? I should have got this prepared. Yeah, when you're doing your guide coat, you only want just a real quick dusting. Touch it.
Soft brush.
Sweeping brush? What, the broom?
Yeah, the broom.
Okay. I think it was in here somewhere, because I used it to sweep through. No more outside. I'm going to change this up and I'll be back. Right, so all we need to do is just give it a real light dusting. So, that's it. Oh, shows you on the phone. It's the first time recording on this phone, so hopefully the sound works properly. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Just a real light sort of dusting. So I'll explain why in a minute. I'll get that camera closer once it's secured off. Yeah, that's all we need. It's just so we can tell the difference. Yeah, I'll explain it in a minute. That's what we're looking for, just as a dust coat. Right, so we've let the guide coat sort of dry off for about 20 minutes or so. Ideally we want to leave it overnight, but on this panel for me it doesn't matter too much. So the next bit, like right here, is I can't really teach you. There's going to be some common sense involved. All I've got, you know, all I can do is show you, and that's working out what block you need to use. Now there are a multitude of blocks, and I only have a few. You know, we started out, you know, with just a basic small flat, got to a bigger flat, and then an even bigger flat. But then you can get stuff like this, which is quite bendy for getting into different shapes, and you get the small ones like that. So I don't have all of the blocks that you can possibly buy. Like I said, it's going to be a bit of common sense of what you're doing with what panel. Now, my advice would be long panels. This is not that's a mini door, but longer panels like this, I would try and go with the longest block that you possibly can. This is relatively flat, You obviously don't want the door flat because it will have a little bit of a curve in it, but just the movement, you'll get it pretty good. This is more for sort of wheel arches and stuff like that, or maybe even just getting in this curve. I might use that later. I've got a soft pad for a DA. These are about a tenner. These are great. Just put a DA pad on it and you can get into little recesses and stuff like that. Like I said, it's going to be a bit common sense. I will go through the process of what I'm doing here. It's going to be a bit long-winded. I'll try and show you as much as I can because this is the key part of any paint job. Right? The prep is what makes the paint job. Yes, I said this is like a reasonable thing, and I'm going to show you a couple of hacks and tips to get a reasonable job. If you want a show finish, then maybe not look at this video. Then there are other videos, and I'll be doing another video for a show finish because it's mostly extra steps. But if you want a decent, reasonable finish, you know, I'm going to show you some tips. So I'll bring the camera in a bit closer, see if we can get the whole door in. Hopefully I can get the whole door in with the height of the camera and the height of the door. But then I'll show you how to work the panel and the way I do it. Alright, so I'm going to start with 320 sandpaper on the long block. When you're doing a decent paint finish, obviously the finer, it's one downside for the long block, because it's a bloody pain in the ass to put them in the long run. Yeah, when you're trying to do a decent paint job, obviously, like I just said, the prep is the key thing. You know, you want this surface as smooth as you possibly can get, but there is a fine line between having a smooth surface and then the paint actually sticking to that surface. So you can polish this up with like whatever you want. So there is always some debate about what grit that you want. Now I will finish this in 500, but I'm going to start with 320. Right, like I said, I've got filler primer on here. I know I've got enough base material to cut back, and then what I can do as well is, because I'm using the 320, if I do break through, it's not hardship to sort of just go over a little bit and then redo it again. So that being said, let's get into it. Now, with a long block like this, you'd be tempted to sort of run down the panel like that. That's not what you want to do. You want to be big sweeps. So you can see I'm not pressing hard, I'm not even doing a cut. And now what I'm doing is cross hatching. So that's all we're doing, is a very, very light cut. Patience is the key with this. Sometimes you come to a corner, you can do this. Now on this door, right, so I've still got to reskin this door. The only reason I'm painting it today is so the customer can see the colour. We've got a relatively flat panel, and I thought I'd show you a video of how to do some prep, and especially how to do some quick prep. So I'm not going to worry too much about the edges, because I know for a fact they're all dented and stuff like that. The main thing is going to be this. But when it comes to the edges, just use a little bit of common sense. Just don't go, keep it flat, don't start doing this, and you want to use like a hand thing. So yeah, that's where sort of this comes in handy. It's like when you're doing the edges, put a real high pad on. You've also got, and you can get in there and deal with that sort of stuff. Also it's like sort of Scotch pads for edges. So anyway, yeah, let's just do this. I might do a little bit of a time lapse on this because we've got a, it's going to take forever.
Are we alright for Friday for them to come and do the door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just got to move all over the place. and you'll see what's happening. So we've got a low spot here already. You can already see it. I mean, on this job it doesn't matter too much. Also keep your pads clean. So, yeah, that's the joy of the glide coat. You can see how it's sort of coming up. You can see how this edge is raised. That's going to be a pain in the ass for what I'm trying to achieve with this panel. I thought I might actually just tweak that down a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, this is sort of what you get. So you see how I'm sort of cross hatching. And then maybe I'll do some of this, go straight away, but constantly in different directions, constantly clean your pad. So you can see we had a higher spot here, that's coming down nicely. So let's try and work over here a little bit. You can see how bad that edge is there, look. So I said don't go in straight lines, but I'm going to try and do that edge because that is a straight line. But you don't overwork it, it's just constantly. You notice I've not touched the top yet, we'll do that as a separate thing. Just doing the big panel first. So now I've got it straight, I might sort of roll it into the corner, and that's what I'm doing, just rolling it over. There is not necessarily, there is a little bit of skill to it, there's a little bit of feel, but a lot of it is just common sense. Don't stay in one spot. Doing that guide coat, you can really see, you can see it changing colour, basically. So, again, keeping it clean, keeping the panel clean. I'm not blowing it down. You can blow it down, but it takes a lot of time. I'll just wipe it off with my hands. At this stage, we're roughing it. We're just getting most of it down. Long sweeps. So yeah, just already you can see we're pretty good here. We've got a low spot here, low spot here. I'm not too worried on this panel. But yeah, this would be at this sort of stage, you could leave it here, rough it up around here, and then maybe put a skim of filler in it or redress it. I might do a video of that one day, but on this panel, this is more about just getting some basic prep done. I mean, you see I've put no filler in this panel. It literally is tape back to bare metal and primed. This primer is pretty good. I've got it pretty thick. So So I'm not putting any pressure down, just, the battery's about to die on the camera, so it's actually a perfect time to sort of say, well, I'm going to get most of this bit blocked out, blocked flat, and then I'll come back, because there's no point in seeing this, but that's what I'm doing, just no pressure at all. I'm just letting it do its work, just doing that. Yeah, so I'll come back in a minute and then we'll address all of this and then address the corners and stuff like that. So I thought I'd sort of show you this a little bit more close up while I'm doing it. So like I said, that's 320 on there. On this panel you can see it's got a real low spot there. and then low spot here. That's why you do the guide coat, and then I've sort of broke through here. So if you was willing to do sort of a couple of decent coats of filler primer, what you could do is you could do this in 240 and then get it done quicker, and then do the 320 afterwards. But I mean that middle bit is lovely, other than a low spot there, and I will get that down. Like I said, like I keep saying, this panel I'm not too worried, but it is a good example of, because I'm not too worried, this will still come out real nice. And yeah, so yeah, this method is basically, you know, a quick way to get a reasonable result, not a perfect result. The more effort that you put in, the better the result, basically. But yeah, so I'm just going to keep blocking until we've got it flat. One thing I have done is, because we've got a pretty straight crease there, I have run that down that crease, but I will, once I get that turned back on, I'll go over this with a short block. There is a dip there, I can feel it. So yeah, just process. It just takes time. It's just a process. This is now mostly blocked, and this is where at this stage, if I had like stuff like this is where I'd sort of correct it. Ideally you'd want to correct most of it sort of pre-primer, but there is obviously always something that you find. So like the high spots, I'd use a hammer to sort of knock them down. These are not too high, that bit there is high, that bit's low, so I'd key that up, maybe put a skim of filler in that, same as this bit here, and then round here. But again, this panel I'm not too worried about. So yeah, what I'd do normally is I'd rectify all these issues, and then I'd re-prime it with the same filler primer, and then just go through the same stages again until you've got it perfect. Ideally you'd want to do this on a car as well, because everything will then line up with the panels. But yeah, you get the idea. All I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to key this crap up, and then show you how to get into the smaller bits. So yeah, it's just a matter of using a smaller block. Same sort of crap, still 320, but yeah, just long strokes, keeping it flat. So look, already you can see how that is rippled. I mean, I could feel that, but why do you not seem to be in focus? I hope you're in focus. You don't look like you're in focus. Why are you not in focus? I'm sorry about that. I hope that's a little bit better. For some reason it's not auto-focusing. Probably because of the dust. Yeah, believe it or not, DSLRs are not designed for spray booths. Who would have knew? Anyway, yeah, so I'm just going to keep locking this down. I know, like I said, this is going to be wavy, but I'm not too worried about it. My main thing at the minute now, I sort of showed you how to get this done, is just to actually key everything up so I can get to the next step. Get it roughly straight, because it doesn't matter on this. You know, it's really frustrating because I've got to paint this, and then I'm literally cutting this door skin off to replace the door skin. It's not rotten, it's just not fitted properly. So I've already got new door skins for it. So I don't want any reactions in the paint, so everything has to be keyed up properly. So yeah, you've seen the most of it. So now I've got to cut some corners and then just key it up, because I don't want to waste film and stuff like that. So well, I'm going to get this keyed up, and then yeah, I'll be back with the next step. Now we're on to the fun bits. I say it's all blocked off. So it's like all the little bits like this. So I just generally use an older piece of paper, fold it up. It depends on the shape really. So like this, you know, it's a little teardrop thing. So yeah, this is where you use your fingers. You don't want to be digging in. You don't want to sort of run your fingers like that, because you'll end up with lines. You need to sort of go round like sort of that. It's really hard to explain. What the fuck was that? Michelle's doing some crap. I don't know what it is. I'm not pressing too hard, I'm just going with the flow. Michelle's screwing things. Trying to do a tutorial video, she's got no respect at all, does she? Again, not pressing very hard, just allowing the paper to do the work without putting any scratches or dents in it, or grooves or anything. Come on. We've got it pretty down, guys. What would help is if my trolley wasn't moving. Yeah, and then you'd do the same on sort of like this sort of edge. But I really am not going to worry about it because I just want to get this painted and get this done. So, right, next steps. I need to get the compressor run up and stuff like that, so I'll be back in a minute. Right, so we need to clean this up. So I'm just using a bit of blue roll and airline, and then yeah, just giving it a dust over straight away. Right, now we need to get this actually ready for paint. So yeah, what we need to do is sand it some more. So yeah, we've got it blocked, got most of the shape in it, but like I said earlier, you know, 320 is not ideal. So I don't know whether this comes up on camera or not. You can see a few scratch marks here, a few scratch marks there, but that's what we need to get at now. We've got it blocked to the shape, we just now need to prep it. So the way we do that is we're going to give it another guide coat, and for that I'm using this powder. This is Myco grey guide coat. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but yeah, basically it's powder in here and you get this little spongy thing, give it a little shake and put it all over. Now this is a bit hit and miss. You can spend hours doing this or whatever. I like to make sure it is fully covered. This stuff does not cost a lot. It costs about 20 quid for a refill of the powder. There's about 25 quid with the applicator as well. So I go extra ham and make sure I've got everything. And then, I don't know whether that's coming up on camera or not, but once you've actually got this on, you can see all of the marks that are in it. You can really see all the sanding marks and stuff like that. But that's actually not why you use it. It's exactly the same as the guide coat that we used before, the spray guide coat. Is we're taking this off. So you just want to get the whole panel covered. Doesn't matter if you leave a little bit on there, I just want a nice even coverage. basically like that. Right, now we're actually going to DA it. Real quick and simple little day. So, these are SIAs, but these are 500 grit. And this is where that little interference pad comes in. So, now this process is not the cheapest. So, them 500 grit pads are not cheap, and then you end up using on average one per panel. But the time that you save doing this, like I said, if you block it with a 320 and then go over it with these, is immensely quick. So you don't want it too fast. You want it exactly the same as before with the 320. Constantly moving, you're not staying in one spot, but all you're now doing is taking them striations out. So as soon as you get back to the grey, you know you've got rid of them. You can't really see, but what I'm doing is watching the panel. So, like I said, like as soon as I put the guide coat on, you could see all of the lines of the where I sanded it before. I'm making sure they're all disappearing, while still keep moving and stuff like that. I'll get the phone out and I'll show you that, because you can actually see the striations there. There you go, so that's the panel. You can see whereof that's sort of cleaned up, but then sort of just here you can still see the striations. So yeah, so all we're doing is just quickly going over it, and then we'll see. And then what you can do is just keep moving the panel around. So yeah. Right, so we've got it all blown down after DAing it, and now we need to address these little recesses. And for that I'm going to use one of these. Now these are not cheap. but they are well worth the money to do it. So with a reasonable paint job, the general rule of thumb is you can use 500 grit on the DA dry. You can use 800 grit wet and dry to sort of hand block, but then dry you need at least 1,000, and that's what these are. So this is 1,000 grit. It's a tiny little square with a foam back, and these are perfect for getting into these tiny little recesses and stuff like that. Like I said, they are about £1 a square. They're not cheap, but it makes all the difference. And also great for getting the edges. If you can't get the DA in there to do whatever, then you sort of run it down the edge and stuff like that. And yeah, all I'm going to do is just literally get this sorted out now. Exactly the same as before, just getting rid of the the guide coat. I'm going to keep moving it to different corners. Try not to light pressure. Don't want to put any ridges in. I think we've got that. And then just do the same here. Just because couldn't go in there, so I'll do that. And then we can do that little edge there as well, just couldn't get the DA in there. See, sticking to the long strokes. Because I put a stroke on that, I might run the DA over that again. It's going to leave a line, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to run the DA over that again. And you can see lines. That's the way you've got to look at it, is if you can see it, you can see it on the primer, you're going to see it in the paint. Yeah, just a very, very quick go over that again. Just like that. There was a bit there. I missed a bit. So you've got to look. So now it's just a matter of cleaning this up. So we're going to give it a blow down, and then we're going to give it a degrease, and then yeah, we're going to actually start laying some paint on it. We are done. I mean, at this stage, depending on what you're doing, you'd mask up or do whatever. Obviously we're not going through that today. Yeah, so I'm just going to lay some paint down, and then hopefully this comes out right. This video is not going to be about sort of painting. This video is all about prep, but I will show you the painting process, and so you can see the finish. Now, I'm not a professional painter. I don't do painting all of the time, so as you probably see when I did the primer, you know, I listened to the. Hold on, let me change the camera angle. Yeah, so as I was trying to say, so I'm not a professional painter. I'm not going to try and go through like how to set your gun up or anything else. As you see when I was laying this primer down, you know, I did it by ear. That's because I know my gun through practice. I go, yeah, I'll do, and then I don't think that listening to, I'm trying to put this delicately because I don't want to sort of like sort of badger on, you know, sort of other channels, but I don't think listening to sort of specifics like that necessarily helps home gamers. They help people that are learning how to paint and do it professionally, but if you're just doing it at home and you've got a cheap gun, it doesn't quite work. You know, you've got to remember they've got massive compressors that can manage constant air, and you know that they can spend, you know, upwards of 800 quid for a gun, you know, because that's what they do every single day. So yeah, I'm not going to go through trying to do that. Just that's going to be trial, error and practice. This video is about the prep and how to do an efficient, quick job. This is not the best way to do prep, not by a long shot, but if you want to do it efficiently and quickly just to get a reasonable job, this is the way forward. Yeah, I will go through sort of dealing with the edges in a second, but yeah, I just wanted to explain that a little bit so I didn't get any badgerment in the comments and saying, "Aaron, this time you paint things and people go about through 5.1 bar." It's not 5 bars, not 1.5 bar. But yeah, it's not what this video is about. It's about prep, quickly, efficiently, and then yeah, I'm going to lay the paint down, you will see it, so then you know that it's actually going to be a reasonable job. So I said it earlier on in the video that the biggest part of a paint job is prep, but the second part of that is also cleanliness. So now we've made an absolute shed ton of dust, we need to clear it off, and that is including myself. Now, I do not want anybody to do this because it is dangerous, but this is the way I'll clean myself. My recommendation to you would be go home, get showered, get changed and do other things. I'm just going to get the air on and blow myself down. Now I've got myself clean-ish, I'm going to clean the panel. And we're going to do this a couple of times because we'll clean the panel, then we'll clean the floor, and then shit's going to get everywhere. So we want to make sure we're getting everything off. So we're going to blow it down, we're going to blow the floor, we're going to sweep the floor. I'm not going to make you see everything, but the idea is make sure everything is up. So I've sort of aired it down, I've swept the floor, I've blown it out the door, I've got as much dust as I possibly can out of the room, plus I've let it settle as well and then done it all again. Now it's just a matter of getting some panel wipe down. So yeah, standard panel wipe. Open up. The way I normally do it is I'll spray it down, allow that to sit for a minute, then I'll go and get the blue roll. The last thing you ever want is dust or oil on your panel, so we're just letting that sit. Now we're going to do a swirly motion to clean it. This should get rid of most of the oil, getting all the nooks and crannies all around the edge. Definitely getting the edges. So yeah, I can start that. And then we do it again. a lot of people go that sort of like panel wipe and stuff like that, and blue roll is really, really expensive. But when you think about if you've got to repaint your entire car because of a tiny little bit that you cocked up on, it's not that expensive at all. So this time I'm not swirling, I'm just going in straight lines. Get to all as one piece, and still, look at that. I'll just go around the edges. I reckon you could probably do this 100 times and still get that crap off. You don't have to keep going until it's clean, but go until it's relatively clean. As I said up there, I'll just flip the towel over. So I think we are pretty good with that. Now the key is with this side of it, is now you do have to leave it for a little while, because you don't know where that you don't know where the cleaner's got into, so you want to let it evaporate and dry off. So yeah, I'm going to leave this about 10 minutes, and then we'll get into laying some paint on. Right, so now I need to address the bare metal, and the way I want to do that is the same spray can that I used for the guide coat. This is what I'm using because it works. This is actually zinc primer. Again, and I need to really emphasise this, make sure you do your own research, because some of these have different solvents in and it will react. I know this one doesn't, so yeah, I can get away with sort of spotting in, but you can get different primers that sort of spot in specifically. Again, this one just works for me, so I'm just going to give it a little dusting. Doesn't need a lot, just we're not trying to build up layers, we're just trying to cover the metal. Yeah, I'm not gone mad. I might give that a second touch. It's drawing pretty quick, so again, like I said earlier, some of this, like I said with the blocking, a bit of common sense. You don't need it deep, you just need it to cover, so you can see how I've got good cover on that. That's it. I'm going to mix the paint up and go straight over the top of that. Right, so now what we need to do is clean the panel properly. Just from this, you know, you can see some overspray. And I'm not going to blow it down because then that puts it in the air. The key to this though is doing this the second this cures off, not leaving it for many hours or anything else. Yeah, we're going to use a tack rag, and what a tack rag is basically exactly what it says on the tin. So it just wipes all of the crap off. So I'm using the U-Pole stuff. I'm not sponsored, although I really would like to be, because I really like U-Pole stuff. So if anybody can put me in touch with U-Pole, please do. I know the head office is just down the road, but I don't know how to do sponsorships. So yeah, this is what we do, just get a tack rag and stuff like that. So then what I'll do now is, yeah, just this will unfold. So the guns are all set up. I'll do this with the air and then yeah, just go for it.
Now just wait and I'll just build this colour up. So what you need to do is let it cure off a little bit and then between coats give it the tack rag again, because you'll get all of the lint off. And you can give it some bean, get all of the hair out. Yeah. I'm not going to go too mad with this because I really don't care. In actual fact, I've gave this about 3 coats already. So there's a 2-stage paint. I don't know if we even know when we can do it. I might be just going fucking like this. Yeah, we just try and kill the show. Yeah, just keep it tacked off, based up, and then we'll get to the clear in a little while.
Right, so I don't know what you actually see, but hopefully you did. I was trying to get it, I was trying to show you sort of tack cloth in between each coat. I've now put probably about 3 or 4 coats on this because it's 2-stage paint. But yeah, it's actually really hot in here, so it went a little bit quicker than I anticipated. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lay down some clear. So I'm going to, this is proper touch dry. I'm going to tack it off. You get some people that will key it up, but then for me I feel that you're going to end up with key marks in it. For a quick job, I'm just going to tack this off and just lay down some clear. You see how I do it. It is already mixed. Give the mask. One thing I also would advise is some ventilation, which I am lacking at the minute. I hear a lot of people going on about booths and everything else, but this is a working booth, not a spray booth.
Patience is the key with this sort of stuff. Just got to wait for it to. You've got to sort of lay down a decent coat and then, well, no, you really want to sort of lay down a dust coat. Try not to move around as well. We'll give it a couple of 3 more coats and then, yeah. You'll see it when it's dry. There's no point in you sort of sitting there watching me spray. You'll see it when it's dry.
And that is the door all done. It's clear as day. There's not much more I can do on that. That is pretty damn perfect. So we're done. Obviously I didn't show you how to get it painted, but I showed you how to get it prepped. So hopefully you will learn something from this video. This panel wasn't ideal. There was a load of crap around the outside. Maybe one day I'll show you how to do a video of doing maybe some filler work, but I try not to do that. I try to do metal finish as much as I can. And as bad as this panel was, I think it's actually turned out pretty good. I mean, I'm looking at it going, I've seen worse on other companies' cars that are on shows. Like round it, doesn't matter, we're going off piste. Yeah, I want to do more stuff like this. I genuinely do want to do more stuff like this, but it has to happen as and when it arises. I don't have the money to just go, I'm going to do that. This happened to happen because the customer wanted to test the colour out. So if you can, please support my Patreon, please donate to the PayPal. If you can't, carry on watching. It's not the end of the world. I'm saying, you know, I've took time out to do this. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Please go in the comment box below. Please ask questions. This is the first time I've actually done a proper tutorial, and yeah, I have no idea how it sort of panned out. So please converse with me. Touching the panel, that is still wet. yes, I am touching it because I don't care. This is going. This needs a new door skin, and that will help sort of polish and yeah, never polish. Another video. Yeah, oh, fucking rambling. So yeah, please have a look in the description box below. Check out my friends' channels. Please sort of say hi, drop a comment, blah blah blah, do all the things. Please have a look over here. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, if you haven't subscribed, click the bubble, click the notification bell so you're informed of all the videos as and when I do them. Then have a look over here, a couple of tabs, previous videos,